What's going on, guys? Today we are standing here in front of a 7-foot wide covered wagon cargo. We're going to walk around it. We're going to talk about some of the features and benefits on this trailer. We're going to talk about why we stock this one on the yard and why it's one of our most popular cargo trailers for sure. So starting up front, you have a lot of your standard equipment. You have your 2 5/16 ball, you have your jack to raise and lower the trailer, your safety chains, your breakaway cable. So your breakaway cable, basically if the trailer comes detached from the truck, is going to pull out of there and activate all the brakes. You're gonna have 4-wheel brakes on this trailer, so that's gonna activate the brakes, make sure that the trailer comes to a safe stop. You're also gonna have your 7-pin round RV style cord that's gonna operate all of your left turn, right turn brakes and brake lights, everything like that. Breakaway battery up here on the front. That is again what's going to supply the power to activate the brakes in case of an emergency. So all that's pretty basic stuff that comes on a trailer. The first thing that really sets the covered wagon apart from most of the other brands is the spray liner that they use. So they use this spray liner, it's like a bed liner that would go in your truck, and they're going to spray that on the tongue going way back, and they're going to also spray it around the entire rear frame that's exposed. And so this really protects the exposed frame of the trailer, from all the chips and dings that you would get from normal use and pulling it, and really keeps the tongue and the rear frame from rusting and having, exposed metal over the years. So I really love that. The trim that is on this trailer is a much heavier duty, taller trim than most of the other brands are using. And what that allows is for the trim to really protect the metal. So a thinner trim out here on the front and around the whole perimeter of the trailer is going to have less of the actual skin and metal tucked behind it, which is going to allow for that skin to move more, and over the years it leads to the trim moving or the skin tearing. So I do love that they use that nice big heavy bottom trim on the trailer, and they also use that big heavy trim up on the top. You'll notice a much bigger trim up here than most of the other brands use, and along with that taller trim also has a drip rail that runs all the way around it. And what that does is protects the trailer from getting those black streaks that you see running down the side of a lot of trailers. So as the water rolls over the top of that trim, it's going to basically act as like a gutter or a deflector where the water is going to kind of shoot past the sides of the trailer, and all that water, the rainwater and the dirt won't roll down the side of it and get stuck on there. So I love that top trim that they use. LED lights, of course. Up there on the corners, you can see your LED markers. Those are going to be LED all the way around the trailer, which is pretty common these days. 7 wide trailers from Covered Wagon are all going to get Polycore on the side. So Polycore, if you've been looking at trailers, you've probably heard that term before. It's definitely the heaviest duty of the skins you can get put on the exterior of the trailer. It's 0.80 thick. So common in the industry on cheap trailers is 0.24. Then a little nicer trailer, you're going to go to an 0.30. This has 0.80, so it's more than double the thickness of most higher end cargo trailers. So a Polycore exterior they're going to do on all of their 7 wide standard, which is a really nice feature. They also use a 48-inch side door, so you get a really nice big side door from Covered Wagon once you go to their 7 wide and up into their 8.5 wide trailers. So just really easy to get your bigger equipment, your stuff that you're carrying in and out of the trailer without trying to squeeze through a smaller door. We order them with a bar lock on the side door for extra security, so you're going to have a bar lock, and you're also going to have your flush lock, which has a deadbolt in here, and you can lock the paddle. So a lot of security on the side door here. As you open it up, one thing that's really cool that Covered Wagon does is they put in an automatic light. So there's a sensor on this side door. As you open the side door, your interior light will automatically come on. So that's really nice. You got your hands full, you open the door at night or early in the morning and you're trying to load it up and your light pops on for you. Great feature. The sealing. So this has thermocool sealing liner in it. Most brands out there that put a thermocool sealing liner in it are doing it to hide the fact that they're not using a one-piece aluminum roof. So out there in the industry, there's something called a Galvalume roof. And a Galvalume roof is a composite material that over time can rust, is number one. And number two, it's got crimp seams. Every 4 feet, there's a machine crimp. And so that's the much cheaper option to build a cargo trailer. And so typically what other brands will do is they'll put that Galvalume roof on it, and they don't want people to see that crimp line that goes across it. So they'll put this thermocool roof inside of the trailer and sell it as a benefit that it keeps the inside of the trailer cool. Covered Wagon is giving you a one-piece aluminum roof and a thermocool sealing liner in it. So not only do they have the best roof, a one-piece aluminum roof, which, way better for making sure that it doesn't leak, that you don't get water between those seams over time. But they're also giving you the insulation of that thermocool ceiling liner, which does keep the interior of the trailer cooler, keeps all of your, materials, anything you put inside the trailer cooler. So I love that, that they're really giving you the benefit of both the better roof and the ceiling liner. Once you start looking at the walls inside this trailer, you're going to see that it is not traditional plywood. Most of the big brands in the industry, so Pace American, Hallmark, Wells Cargo, Covered Wagon, they all use what's either called StableBoard or Drymax. It's basically an engineered board. A lot of people, when they see this, they think it's basically particle board. It is definitely not particle board. Particle board has a much rougher feel. You can actually, with particle board, you can kind of peel off sections of it if you wanted to. This is a resin board, so it's got a ton of resin in here, and this stuff was being used in production of houses. And they did it in houses so that if a house was half built and water was getting on the exterior wood while it was being produced, it didn't have rotting, delamination, anything that normal plywood would do where it would swell and start to come apart. So this stuff will not absorb water. It is very high resin content in there. It is straighter, it is stronger, it has better deflection than plywood. So it is all around, it is a higher grade of material than standard plywood. So definitely when you see that, realize that it's an upgrade. There are brands out there that for sure use particle board to build a cheaper trailer, but this is definitely not what you're seeing in a covered wagon. From there, Covered Wagon is going to put D-rings in your four corners, so 2 in the front and 2 in the rear to help tie down anything that you're putting in here. So I do love that feature as well. Most of the brands are not going to put any tie downs in there, so you're kind of responsible for figuring out, throwing D-rings, E-tracks, something like that in the trailer to be able to tie your stuff down. They have a really nice extension flap on this trailer that's trimmed out, a really big heavy-duty steel piano style hinge. So some of these brands are going to use a really, cheap hinge back here, and this flap is going to basically fall off after just, a few months to a year of use. And then they also give you these great grab handles, so makes picking up the door, nice and easy as you're letting it up or down. So I do like that feature. Spring assist, of course, on the rear door from your cables here to help pick those heavy doors up and down. And then last but not least, you're going to see that they have flow-through vents on these. So instead of punching a hole up in the ceiling with a roof vent that eventually can leak, they're just going to put side flow-through vents. So there's one up in the front, one in the back. It's going to help scoop air while you're driving. It's kind of going to circulate air, let air in and out of the trailer, let it breathe even while it's sitting. So I do love that as opposed to the old school traditional roof vent. This trailer is going to have 2 3,500-pound axles on it, brakes on all 4 wheels, 7,000 GVWR. Most of these 7 wides are going to weigh just over 2,000 pounds. So if you're looking at a 7x14, 7x16, they're going to weigh just over 2,000 pounds. You're going to have the ability to put about 4,500, just shy of 5,000 pounds inside this trailer, which is a really nice payload for this size. So hopefully you learned something today. Let us know if you were looking for something like this or any other trailer that we have on the yard, and we will be happy to help. Thank you for watching, guys, and we will see you out there.